about it, we're not born as friends of God because we're born as sinful offspring of Adam. Actually, if you think about it, we're born as enemies of God. Sometimes you'll hear people say of a little baby, look at that little angel. But more accurate would be to say, look at that little enemy of God.
Hey, Jesse, what's up?
Gilbert.
Yeah.
We're coming in on the 4th of July, and the more I'm thinking about this subject, and thinking about the 4th of July, and thinking of Stephen Lett, and how they cross paths, and I know I've been talking to you about the Stephen Lett speech that he gave about that babies are enemies of God.
Okay. Hey, well, Jesse, this is what we're going to do. Everybody's already seen this video, and we're going to give our take. But there's 6 points that we're going to bring out. It's going to be a real quick video, and definitely going to need other people's opinions on this. We're going to go with my 3, and then we're going to go with your 3. You're going to talk about the context, Stephen's face, and God's spokesperson. But I want to discuss first, on this video, my question is it by design or not? And you have to understand, Watchtower is a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business. We all know that they're in the business of religion. You know that, and I know that. So I'm not going to try to get into that debate, their religion. We know it's a business. So they know they didn't go like Bill O'Reilly and say, we'll do it live. And we will leave you so you have to understand that the other members of the governing body saw this, or they heard about this, and or wrote it and gave it to him, and he's the person that's going to the fall guy. But the point is this: they knew, and they went with it. So as a corporation, as a business, in a religion, a business of a religion, why? Who in their right mind would do this? Because they did it on purpose, is my opinion. And it goes to the point that they want a certain percentage of the J-dubs to leave the religion. So think about just for example, here in Yuma, Arizona, in the map, there's like 5 or 6 Kingdom Hall buildings, right? There's like 3 in Yuma, okay. So there's 5 or 6. Imagine if they're able to get rid of a certain percentage of the Jehovah's Witnesses and consolidate them down to 3 Kingdom Halls. Well, that now opens up 2 Kingdom Halls to be sold, and that's just in that little city. And when you look at the map of the United States, 2 Kingdom Halls, and then they're peppered all over the map. Jesse, that's hundreds of millions of dollars that they could liquidate and move to other corporations. So I believe it could be by design. That's my point number 1. Point number 2, they are telling you the truth. Watchtower has always told you the truth. Look, right here, I have it. Jesse, I have the picture of the Bible. It says the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. Jesse, they're telling you the truth. It's the Holy Scriptures translated by the New World. You see?
So your second point is that they're telling you they hate babies.
Yes, because, listen, they're telling you the truth because do the circuit overseers have babies?
No.
Do a lot of the elders have babies? No. Do the Bethelites have babies? They've always encouraged you not to have babies. Jesse, now it's out in the open. It's kind of like the governing body has dementia, and the truth is spilling out. Jesse, the truth is that Watchtower has always hated babies, and now they can't help themselves. So Watchtower has always told you the truth. It's kind of like the episode of The Twilight Zone when it says it's a cookbook. No, it's a cookbook to serve man. But everybody thought that the book... Yeah, everybody thought the book was that the aliens were here to help you. No, they were here to eat you. And the other one is, I'm going to let you comment on, is this nuclear stupidity, which you believe? I believe it's diabolical design. So the question is, what Stephen Lett's video, in my opinion, is diabolical design to implode the religion, move assets from one place to another, and make it easier. But you think it's nuclear stupidity?
You call it spiritual stupidity?
No, nuclear stupidity.
Nuclear. It's a higher. You know what? We were talking about that last night privately, and we brought up the term. I brought up the term that, I didn't bring up nuclear stupidity. If we were talking in Spanish, this would be a whole new level of pendejo.
Yeah.
This is pendejo into another dimension.
Yeah.
Into another dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand nuclear stupidity. I like it.
But I understand what you're saying, that this is a stupidity that goes now into a different dimension.
It's a different dimension of stupid. Yeah, it's like a fourth dimension of pendejo-ness.
And that's what you believe it is?
Way up there. Yeah, because nobody. This is like like the Elvis Presley song. It says how God's love is so high you can't go over it, so wide you can't go around it. So low you can't go under it. So you talk about the dimensions. Stephen Lett here has brought up a new level of stupidity, and it goes to one of my points because it's in another dimension. Because they see everything that's going on in the world today. They see the Roe versus Wade in the United States of America. They see the child vaccinations. They see the school shootings. They see the child trafficking. Children are, right now, it's a miracle when children are born. It's a miracle. Children are under attack. If we're having Armageddon, it's not us adults that are going through Armageddon. It's the children that are going through Armageddon. And stupid Stephen Lett comes out as an antichrist. There is no gospel. There is no gospel of anti-babies in the gospel message. There is no gospel message. There is no context to this stupidity. It's a next level stupidity. It's a higher dimension. It's beyond nuclear. Because in our third dimension, we can explain nuclear. What I'm telling you, it's out of sight. They call themselves the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witness. He's coming on from a non-Christian point of view. This is why I come up with the word another dimension. He's coming in from this has nothing to do with Christianity. In fact, it endangers Christians' lives because he's saying Christians are enemies. Christians should see babies as enemies of God. This is a uniquely antichrist teaching. It's a spirit demonic inspired expression.
Jesse, this is...
And it has to be called out. It has to be called out by elders. Me and you were elders. Together we were over 30 years. Together. We have a duty to call it out. Every elder listening to your talk has a duty to call out Stephen Lett and call for his resignation, call for his hanging, call for his disfellowshipping, anything. But he needs to leave. He's not a Christian. This is an abomination.
Jesse, this is worse than the two women with Solomon. And the one woman, she did what the Christian person would do. She would give her life. She would give everything to save the baby. And the other lady says, no, let the baby die. Stephen Lett is worse than that lady, that he's calling the babies enemies of God. He is literally worse than the woman in the King Solomon.
Well, the woman was a counterfeit mother. She was a counterfeit mother. She was dressed up like a mom and said, she's the mom. Stephen Lett is a counterfeit Christian. His true, you call it a Freudian slip, call it anything you want, a mistake. No, his true colors, like you said, the New World Translation. They're telling you they're Antichrist. This is not a gospel message. This is not the gospel message. This is not why the angels came down and talked to the shepherds in the field. No, this is not why Jesus came and died in Calvary. This is not to say that babies are... No, Christians gave their lives. And I started off by talking about the 4th of July. Even Americans, non-Christian, in the secular... Even the secular people give their lives in sacrifice for themselves and their posterity, for their children. People who don't call themselves Christians do this all the time. Stephen Lett is trying to come up with some context that babies are enemies of God.
And listen, that goes to your 3 points now. The first point of your 3 was context. Because when you first told me this over the phone, I couldn't believe it. I thought, is he reading something? Yes. Is he reading from Chairman Mao? Is he reading from Lenin? Did Hitler write something and they found it? And I go, what's happening here with the context? So go ahead and talk about the context.
Well, the context here is Stephen Lett's speech is talking about being friends of Jehovah or getting to be a friend of Jehovah through the organization or through following whatever Watchtower teaches you. What I am saying is, and you're going to find it in Facebook and social media and YouTube, all the Jehovah's Witness apologists are going to say, listen to the context. What's the context? My brothers, I'm telling you, the context is worse than the speech. The context is worse than the speech. It's not a gospel message. Being a friend of Jehovah is not a gospel message. Getting salvation through the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society organization and the New World Translation is the context is worse than the idiot Stephen Lett's talk.
Wow. Now, okay, let's go on to point 2. You talked about your point number 2 of the video was Stephen's face.
Well, that's not a very important topic, but when I was watching his speech, look at his face, and so many people talk about his face, but he tries to feign empathy. When he talks about the word about babies, he tries to feign empathy. He tries to, he contorts his facial expressions. So I was watching it real slow, and I am not a professor reading people's faces. But I could tell when he feigns empathy. I could tell when he feigns disgust or when he feigns anger. And he's doing it premeditated. What it shows me, I don't know what all this means. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not anything. All I know is it took a lot of practice. They put a lot of time and energy into this talk. I remember one time when Richard Rodriguez in our congregation, he gave the district convention talk. He was an elder in the Yuma congregation, and they picked him to give the public talk at the main talk at the assembly. And the circuit overseer, we were in an elder meeting one time, and he goes, "Brother," and everybody was jealous of him. We don't know why the branch picked a local elder to give this talk.
Yeah, the district overseer.
The district convention in San Diego.
The LA district overseer Lita was the one.
Yeah, and he goes, "Brother Rodriguez, how many times have you studied?" Because Lita didn't get the talk.
Mm-hmm.
The district overseer didn't get a circuit overseer. Just a lowly elder like Rodriguez got the talk. And he goes, "How many times have you studied this?" And he goes, "Oh, I've studied it about 50 times. No, Brother Rodriguez. No, Brother Rodriguez. A talk like this, you have to study 100 times. And he goes, "Okay, I'll study 100 times." This is what I'm saying. Brother Lett studied these facial expressions that he does. They're contrived. It's almost like a demonic shape-shifting going on in his face. Look at it. It's contrived. It's premeditated.
Jesse,
he knew what he was talking about.
Jesse, Jesus talked about this with the Pharisees doing the exact same thing with their bodies and letting everybody know they were fasting. Yeah. No, this is a perfect example of what Jesus talked about. Hey, and your third point, Stephen is God's spokesperson, allegedly.
Okay. You know what? I looked up in the, and I've always hated it since I was a young kid. When I heard that they said they called themselves God's channel, the first thing that popped into my head was the Ouija board.
Everybody.
When they were channeling demons.
Everybody.
I've always hated it. So I looked it up in the dictionary. Channeling is a demonic thing. It's not a Christian. It's not found in Christian. It shouldn't be in our Christian vocabulary. But these guys, they claim to be God's channel, that they speak for Jehovah. And they don't see, and I've already talked about this, what's happening in the world today with the Roe versus Wade, with children being under attack, children in our neck of the woods being trafficked across the border, children dying in buses and in tractor trailers in the desert. All this happening, the Roe versus Wade, the abortions, the school shootings. God's channel, is it broken? Did he know that maybe it's not a good time to be calling children, babies, enemies of God? When babies are already under attack? You remember the Jehovah's Witnesses always preach that the elders have to be comforters?
Yes.
That they're the shepherds and they're holding the sheep, and they have this famous picture of the shepherd holding the sheep. Here, Stephen Lett is kicking the ass of babies.
Yeah.
He's not a shepherd. He's a butcher. He's a Nazi. He's a murderer. He's an assassin. To say children are the enemies of God is murderous language. Oh my God. If this man has to be run out, he needs to apologize.
And it has to be done. The elders of Jehovah's Witnesses need to take a stand. Or you're
They're
in bad
cowards.
company.
They're all cowards.
Cowards.
They'll all suck his ring.
Jesse, can I tell you something? I know it's gonna blow your mind, but check this out. I'm holding up again the Bible of the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Holy Scriptures translated by the New World. They're telling you the truth. Every Christian in America does not use the word channel or God's channel, but only Jehovah's Witnesses. So the God of the Jehovah's Witnesses communicates to the governing body via channels. It's Jesse, they're telling you. The governing body is telling you that their God communicates to them via a channel. just like people channel the demons. You see, but not one Christian religion ever uses that language. And the reason the Jehovah's Witnesses use that language is because they're always telling you the truth. To serve man is not a book to help you humanity, like the Twilight Zone says. To serve man is a cookbook. Same thing here. The Jehovah does channel the governing body because the God of the Jehovah's Witnesses is demonic.
This is some deep shit. Look, let me ask you this. Going back to your first point, are they doing this on purpose? But look, let's go with your theory that they're doing this on purpose because they want to remove some witness. They want people to, bail out. Mm-hmm. I don't think none of the elders or ministerial servants have the mental capacity to understand that they're channeling shit. Mm-hmm. They're channeling demonic stuff here that no Christian should touch with a 10-foot pole.
Correct. Even we...
To call babies enemies of God? I mean, this guy has to be disfellowshipped.
Yes. Stephen Lett should be disfellowshipped for what he just said.
Yeah.
It's a disfellowshipping offense.
And you know what? And we need to start a new Christian tradition. Mm-hmm. We need to have a disfellowshipping party. When he's disfellowshipped, we need to have a party with fireworks, like a 4th of July party. Because this is a danger to Christianity and Western civilization. Christians do not call babies. Christians give their lives for their babies.
Mm-hmm. Christians do not call babies enemies of God, yes. Mm-hmm.
This is slanderous and murderous. Mm-hmm. Slanderous and murderous.
Mm-hmm. And remember, I'm going to bring out that point again. They're telling you the truth. If you're in Bethel, if you're a circuit district overseer and elder, they encourage you not to have children. Now the truth is coming out because Watchtower always viewed children as a disdain in worshiping Jehovah. So you can't worship Jehovah whole-souled if you have a baby. Now, talk real quick about your friend who was your best man during your wedding. What happened when he found out his wife was pregnant?
Well, him and his brother-in-law, when they found out they were pregnant, they got depressed. They went into depression because they weren't supposed to have babies. It took away from their service in Bethel.
Correct. It took away from their service in Bethel. They're depressed that they had babies, and yeah, and those Jehovah's Witnesses have no desire to celebrate their baby's birthday. What sick sons of Jezebels they are.
Yeah.
Jesse.
And you know what? Here's the thing. If you want to know the difference between the wheat and the weeds, good and evil, Stephen Lett set it up like a hanging curveball. Yeah. You have to hit it out of the park. He said that some people would see a baby and say, what a beautiful little angel.
Yeah.
And really, he goes, you could see what an enemy of God. He set it up. Yeah. A normal human, doesn't matter if you're Christian, Buddhist, Baptist, Hindu, whatever walk of life, black, white,
Native American,
married, single, anybody sees a baby, it brings a smile to your face.
Yeah.
You have to be a demon-inspired person to see a baby and classify it as an enemy of God. Mm-hmm. Something is not right here. He's dealing in something that is from another dimension and not a Christianity.
What did Jesus say? From the abundance of a man's heart, his mouth speaks. There you go, right. Jesse. It's there. So, whatever sin a 16-year-old Jehovah's Witness did, it pales to comparison to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, if you're a 16-year-old kid as Jehovah's Witness and you got caught jerking off or having sex in the backseat of a car, don't worry, because when you're in Judgment Day, you can always point to Stephen Lett and says, what? You're gonna let me die in Armageddon, but Stephen Lett gets a pass for this?
You know what? This is a watershed moment.
Do this, you will kill the market for years. It's over. And you're selling something that you know has no value.
We are selling to willing buyers at the current fair market price, so that we may survive.
You will never sell anything to any of those people ever again.
I understand.
Do you?
Do you? This is it. I'm telling you, this is it.
You know what? This is a watershed moment. This
Yeah.
is a moment in life where our brothers, I call up my brother Joe Gonzalez in Jonesboro, Arkansas, my brother-in-law Paul DeAnda in Somerton, Arizona, fire chief, who everybody respects. I'm calling you out, brother. I love you. I love you, Joe. I love you, Paul. But you are worshiping a man who is a Class A walking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? In social media, some people tell me, no, you got to pray for them. No, you pray for them. We were elders. We were elders. We have a duty to call it out. Because if we don't do it, you think that the elders are going to do it?
Jesse.
You think that the circuit overseer is going to do it? We have a duty.
Don't give me
to
this.
Speak against
don't
them.
give me this praying for them. Was John the Baptist, the greatest man born to woman, was he praying for the Pharisees?
No.
Exactly. So this.
Or King Herod? I'm with you, but let me give you counterpoint. Those Christians that want to pay for him, great. But what I'm challenging all the elders and disfellowshipped elders, removed elders, active elders, or retired elders, whatever you are, or Jehovah's Witness, I'm calling you out. This is it. This is for what we were born for. We were supposed to be trained to defend the congregation. We were supposed to defend the undefensible. The babies. If our brothers don't stand up and say, Brother Lett, you fucked up, then they're cowards of the worst category, of the highest rank.
Yeah. And those of you, don't get upset because he just threw an F-bomb. But you give a pass to Stephen Lett for what he said. No. You have to learn to start putting things in perspective. And you know what? And Peter, he threw a couple F-bombs here in front of Jesus. So don't even go there. This is some very serious stuff, and the lives of little babies.
No.
More important.
When I was having my qualifications elder meeting, when they removed me because my son was in wrestling, I dropped some F-bombs and they didn't disfellowship me. I said, I told the elders, fuck that shit. When they told me that I had to kick my son out of the house, and they didn't, they took it, they listened. Because sometimes men have to speak that way. When they ask you to do things that go against humanity, like kicking your son out of the house when he's underage, you have to say F that.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, you want to wrap it up? We got to wrap it up.
Yeah, I challenge every elder, active, disfellowship, or walked away. I challenge you to make a video, to make a stand, make a petition, or hold a disfellowshipping committee, a judicial committee in your congregation and disfellowship Brother Lett. Unless he apologizes, he needs to be disfellowshipped.
Yeah. Congregations and circuits should be disfellowshipping Stephen Lett. And if you're an elder and you're listening to this, before you do it, hire a lawyer and transfer the property of your Kingdom Hall, so that way it can't be sold to New York and be taken from underneath you.
Listen, Gilbert, me and you served as elders. We know that if we called a brother and we could disfellowship a witness by absentia, we could disfellowship a brother by absentia. I'm saying me and you right now, this is our judicial committee. As far as I'm concerned, Brother Lett, I'm not disfellowshipped, and neither are you. We were never disfellowshipped. And I live 3 houses from the hall. 3 blocks from the hall. I'm disfellowshipping Stephen Lett. As far as I'm concerned, he's disfellowshipped. And I hope a lot of Jehovah's Witness elders follow suit, because you have a duty to protect the undefensible.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Stephen Lett, that should be the title. Stephen Lett should be disfellowshipped for what he said.
No, he is disfellowshipped. I disfellowshipped him.
Yeah, okay, we disfellowshipped him.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.